People, welcome. It is the drop. It is Thursday. It is 12:30-ish.
I'm
Ruben Dominguez. That's Quinn Bishop. And of course, this man sitting next to me has a list. New music. Look at it. Let's do this thing, man.
Hey, we're going to kick it off. You know, this is a very, I don't know what you thought about this. This is a very rockin' edition of the
Pedal
drop.
to the metal, baby.
Yeah, this like, we're trying to like spread it around genre, not be so genre specific, but there's a lot of rockin' stuff going on. First off, out Friday, Queens of the Stone Age in Times New Roman is the brand new record. It's their 8th album, you know, Josh Homme and company.
Yeah, it's been a while. 6 years, right? Since the last one, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. And what I previewed sounded like
Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, sounds like Queens of the Stone Age.
Sounds good.
I like them.
Yeah.
And then the kooky thing was, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, album release and cancer diagnosis announcement. Yeah,
he said he'd been diagnosed but had been treated, and
so
he's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the what's that BBC thing? I watched some of it. The Zane Lowe. He interviews everybody. So I caught some of that this morning. Pretty cool stuff, man. Love these guys. And they do what they do very, very well.
Yeah, I think they're one of the handful of bands that's a modern band that really connects with an older hard rock demographic. So very, very popular.
New fans, older fans. Yeah, good
it's
stuff.
It's gonna do well. Good to have a new record from them.
Good sound.
We have Christine and the Queens. This is the new album, Paranoia, Angels, and True Love. Remarkably cool artist who is huge in the UK. Kind of a cult artist here. Brand new record. In French-born artist whose name is Heloise Adelaide Letizier. That sounds pretty
well done,
French
sir.
to me.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'm glad you had that read.
Records are always compelling, and there's a lot going on there. It's almost like operatic in places from what I remember, and I streamed a couple of the tracks this morning. It sounds cool, and has a huge guest appearance on there.
You tell them.
Madonna is on this
Isn't that
record.
Crazy?
Yeah, I can't even name other Madonna guest appearances. There's a few here and there.
I think I saw something that Madonna, they announced something that she became the first artist to have a top 10 hit in 5 consecutive decades.
Wow.
Something like that. Billboard.
That's
Some sort of Billboard chart. So I'm listening to it, and you've heard some of the previous material, but this was my first time with it. And man, like I think it was the first track, I can't remember. I got almost like an Enya vibe for a minute.
Yeah, there's some of that.
Right?
Some of that, yeah. So
the really
overture
slow,
is like orchestra cinematic kind of fades in.
Yeah.
And then her voice is really unique.
It's beautiful.
Check it out. So
yeah, this is a good one.
I think she's going to pick up a lot of fans in the U.S. With this record. And
I like this a lot.
Tour. I can't remember who she's out there with, but you have a chance to see.
And you're recommending the Wikipedia page as a good
fascinating story,
accompanying read to go with this companion read.
If you need to know more,
go to the wiki.
Brand new EP from Envy of None. Their record full length came out last year. This has a couple of new tracks as well as some remixes of stuff from the album. And tell them who's in the band.
Who is in the band?
This is Alex Lifeson.
Yeah, right. Alex Life. So, were they already a project and they asked him to do something with them?
That is correct.
Yes, because I saw an interview with them and he was reluctant to be like our band or the band, or kind of like he wasn't like super committing to. I don't know. I could be 100% wrong. I will tell you though, you're not going to get Alex Lifeson if you're looking for like Rush Alex Lifeson.
Nope. It's been playing a bunch of different. So there's times. I mean, you definitely can pick out his playing, but it's a whole different thing. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm kind of at odds with about them has nothing to do with the music. It's that they're being marketed as this Canadian supergroup, and that seems a stretch when the other guys, he's in this band Coney Hatch, which was like an MTV era hair band.
Right.
I don't even know who the other guy is.
I don't either. And until you said it, because I didn't read through it, I was just listening to it. I'd forgotten that Alex was part of the project.
Yeah. So brand new music from
him.
If
you read the little label, it'll tell you. Yeah. I liked the kind of like slower ambient stuff, trippy stuff on here. This is interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes. See where that's going to go.
What do we have? Youth Lagoon. Heaven is a Junkyard. This is Mr. Trevor Powers. This is their first album in 8 years.
Been a really long time.
And the
for them.
previous records did really well for us. Sonically, they're kind of all over the place. It's at times kind of I describe it as like a spacey pop. Good, very, very harmony laden songs, catchy. Good to have them back on the Fat Possum label, and
great label.
Yeah, great label, and this was a cool listen.
All right,
check
so
it out
hey, and if you buy now, ultra clear vinyl, first pressing. How about
ultra clear, not just clear.
So clear.
Some stores have clear vinyl.
You can see the future.
Ultra clear.
Love it.
More indie rock for you that defies description. This is King Cruel. This is
Yeah,
Space
man.
Heavy, the new record. I really like these guys. Every record is it's just a smorgasbord of sounds. There's a lot of influences.
They wear their influences on the sleeve.
Yeah. And this is Archie Ivan Marshall. It's really kind of a one-guy band, but it is a band. And,
I love that kind of deep bass vocal
cool.
that he has. It's so.
But it's kind of.
I'd like to see this live. Actually, I would
see
love to see these guys do this live. Yeah.
Well, we might get it. We might get
I hope so, man.
Might get our chance. Yeah, Deep Voice is cool. It's not really even like a gothy type thing, and it could go there,
and
but
very that thick British accent. I don't know where he's from in England, but there's definitely a.
In the bio, it says that he wrote all these songs. So he's from Liverpool,
okay,
and was driving back and forth to London and he was basically writing all the material on the drive or
on the road,
back and forth between. So interesting.
Cool stuff.
You find a lot of really ambitious artists. They will find a mechanism for their writing to make it different, and I think that's important.
I remember seeing that the performance on Letterman.
Oh, I don't think I saw.
Yeah, they did. What was the Easy?
Mm-hmm.
That was the song. It was great, and you can always tell when Dave really liked something, and then sometimes when he was like, "Oh, that's great, thanks for being on," man, he really liked it. Yeah, you can tell.
He elevated a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Great art. I will
say
that about him.
Yes, he did.
Fans of the '80s British UK rock band from Manchester will be into this. This is James.
Yes.
And this is celebrating 40th anniversary. I guess they hit the scene like 82, 83, I guess. And, a lot of bands will revisit their catalog and reinterpret the music. This is what they're doing here. So you get there's a 22-piece orchestra with like an 8-piece choral group singing with them, doing their song. And their songs are always very melodic. People would know the Sit Down song. That's been licensed for films and TV, and you would know that song if you heard it. But I think the record I really like by them. They did a collaboration with Eno called Wah Wah.
Oh, I never heard that. No,
it's good. It's really cool, and it was very collaborative. Sometimes not just as a producer, but it was a collaborative record. It was cool, but great band, and I'm sure fans are going to be into this.
Love it.
Reinterpretation of their great song.
They never, other than the kind of one hit, I guess you would say, they never really cracked it over here.
They sold records here.
Yeah,
but honestly,
bigger over in Europe.
We always sold their records here, but they were never in that age of college rock and alternative radio. They never really found their place. And actually, I think Sit Down was a bigger hit years later after it had been featured in films and stuff than it was first time around. This is the new album from Gracie Abrams, which has been digitally available for a while, but it's now in physical goods. This is Good Riddance. This is her debut record, 23-year-old. And she's got some co-vocals with Adam Dessner from The National. People will know her because she just played for, could I say millions of people on this Taylor Swift tour?
Sure.
Because how many people is that every night? It's 180,000 a night. That adds up really quick.
There was, when she played Houston, I want to say there was 80 plus thousand in the stadium.
So, yeah.
Well, we were talking about her always bringing these artists out with her and always doing that cool thing that she does too.
And if you're a celebrity or you're a musician of great import, you can really make a difference in up and coming artists, and Taylor always does that. I think it's to fit it all on there as 2 LPs.
Okay.
But
Taylor,
I listen to it. She's a great voice.
Yeah.
Very, very cool voice. romantic pop songs. We like those.
Yeah, dreamy, haunting.
Dreamy. Okay.
I looked over. Go ahead.
So, and we're going to end the new release portion of the drop today. Introduce you a new artist, which we love to do.
Yes,
on the
we
drop. This is Selwyn Birchwood. His record is Exorcist, and man, he is one of the most. He's an emerging next generation blues artist. His records are great. He can kind of play anything. He plays lap steel. He plays great slide. Terrific guitar player, good singer. He's got a sense of humor too. So I just think this is. He's on the great Chicago label, Alligator, which has brought us so many great.
And they're
great
celebrating
artists.
50 years.
50 years of them.
That's fantastic.
And to have a new artist really hang your hat on as you're doing that is very cool. I'm hoping he comes to town so I can go see him. But he's from Tampa. He has this great
Home of
track.
the Blues.
Home of the Blues, Tampa, Florida. He's got this great track on this record called Florida Man.
Yeah.
That
I didn't hear that one.
it's just all about crazy Florida stories. Florida Man.
Nice. There's a Netflix series, Florida Man.
Yeah. So it's
That is cool, man.
it's cool. Great
So
player.
Rolling
Check him out.
Stone, little quote from Rolling Stone from their review. Remarkable contemporary young bluesman. Highly recommended. I love that.
I would agree. And
love
it's
it.
so easy. Blues is a medium where it's so easy to just listen to the old stuff and not grab onto somebody new. But
Watch
this
out,
guy's
people.
solid.
Guitar players are like creeping back into the mix.
Oh, look out!
It is
Let's get the
happening.
guitars
It is
back.
happening.
Guitars back.
What is happening?
All right, dude. I'm gonna hit you with a double
Come on.
whammy of killer,
Classic.
unintended,
Classic.
Some of the greatest rock music ever
Classic.
released. These are two records celebrating their 50-year anniversary. It's Alice Cooper, Killer, and School's Out. Wow. And these are expanded versions that contain 3 LPs with a bonus live show, as well as alternate mixes of the records. I think what you have there, that's his defining moment. Cover's so great.
They're very young.
Yeah. Very, very young. When Alice Cooper was a band, not a man.
Correct.
And these
Which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, because at some point there was no band, and then
Yeah.
it's just Alice Cooper, right?
Yeah. To a lot of people, he's the guy that sings in Johnny Depp's band.
Totally.
It's not-
And his documentary is absolutely terrific. Kind of a warts and all. Doesn't really, it's not over flattering. I mean, when artists are involved in documentaries, sometimes they're
he's been
not so great.
he's been through the rock and roll spin cycle.
Yeah.
Wash and
he is one of the
dry.
coolest guys, the best with fans.
Don't tell me he did an in-store.
We did a private walkthrough with him where we could invite people to come to the store.
Gosh.
And
Quinn's
we
literally
did that.
met everyone. I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
He's great. I
I
haven't
love it.
played golf with him, but I don't play golf with anybody.
But we always say it. It's always wonderful when the artists are that cool.
and he is.
When they're just
He is.
all about it.
No ego and all
Did-
about the
Have
fans.
I told you the Chuck Negron story?
Oh, the Three Dog Night guy?
Yeah.
No.
So, Chuck Negron, Three Dog Night, obviously late 60s, early 70s, right? For
Really,
Three Dog?
70s or the first record 69. I think,
Okay,
but
70s.
Really 70s.
So just put it in the Apple Music. You'll see it's hit. You know it. You've heard all these songs. They've been in commercials, movies, everything. But after the pinnacle of their fame, he had a drug problem. He was a something like homeless heroin junkie for 20 years, like living in alleys for 20 years. Then he gets clean. And then he comes back and everybody wants to hear him sing, and he came into the building one day and people were like, Chuck Negron's here. I'm like, the Chuck Negron? They're like, yeah. I think he wrote a book or something.
He did.
And I'm like, where is he? And there's like, he's right over there.
His book has a great title.
What is it?
Three Dog Nightmare.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I walk over and they're like, hey, just go ask, get a couple, tape something for later. So I just come, we had a little conversation and stuff. And I've never gotten so much of a vibe of, I'm just happy to be alive from any human being. This guy was like radiating and he was the nicest man.
And his book also if you think drug abuse and addiction is flattering, you will It's hard to read.
Nope.
It's hard to read.
Three Dog Night. That's fantastic.
Okay, another guy who came through the other side. This is Joe Perry. Now, this is first finally on vinyl title, because this has been available for some time. The music has first time on vinyl. You got a lot of good guests on this record, and
Is Sharon on this?
Is
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary sings on at least a couple of the songs, I think. Because I saw some footage of them doing a club gig.
Yeah, and they're kind of doing. I guess Aerosmith is winding down with their farewell tour. It's probably going to go on longer than Elton's.
Can I tell you, Joe Perry has wonderful taste in guitars.
I would agree.
Of course, acquiring them is not an issue for him, but
No.
he's got
a Dan Armstrong. On
He's
the
got a
cover of
Dan.
that.
Yeah, man.
And that little fella, you're surprised he can even pick that thing up. Those things.
Yeah, that's a
Wait.
boat anchor.
It is
It's
a boat anchor. It is a clear boat
He didn't like
anchor.
this guitar, whatever that was.
That one's gone.
He's like,
That
yeah,
one's-
you're dead to me.
Strike that one off the list. It's out of here.
Oh, this is on purple and white swirl.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want some swirly vinyl.
Get your colored vinyl fix.
Okay, as far as our Americana goes, this is like a huge record of
Oh, man.
really the emergence of Americana music. This is Drive By Truckers. This is their album Dirty South, complete Dirty South. And it has been resequenced as, sometimes when you're making a record and you're putting it together, producers and record labels make you compromise what your vision of the record would be. And this restores it of course, it's all been remastered. They updated the artwork. They're calling it the director's cut. So it's really how the band perceived this piece being.
What was the one they released? What was the one last year? Was it the live? We talked about it. They released that. I think it was a double album live at somewhere, remastered, remixed, or something.
Yeah, that was
pretty
a
cool
record
too.
store day piece. That was live from. Was it School Kids? It's one of the stores
Something like that.
in the southeast.
So kids before Jason Isbell was just Jason Isbell.
He was in this band and always had a couple of great songs on every record. I think
great
he's got a
guitar
couple on here
playing,
too.
man, just good stuff.
Yeah, and this is really they're one of those bands that I think as time kind of moved on, they kind of just did what they do, but this is while they're emerging, really establishing themselves, and I think this is arguably their finest hour.
Get this one for your collection, kids.
Yeah, on New West Records.
Get that one for your collection.
Okay, another modern, and there was just a story I saw popped up on my Google about 10 years ago. Modern Americana becomes into the mainstream, and this is one of the artists. This is Sturgill Simpson. This is the 10th anniversary
so
of
good.
his High Top Mountain. And, so Sturgill's really unique. Of course, he's almost like a household name after, winning Grammys and selling a bunch of records. But, this is his first record, which is I would say it's like a folk record. And then the next record is a country record. And the record after that's a soul record. And the record after that's a hard rock record. And he just kind of does it all. His second record was his breakthrough record.
Yeah.
This is a really fine record. I don't think a lot of people have gone back to get it. This you need to pick
First,
this one up.
it contains the first Sturgill Simpson song I ever heard, and I was like it stopped me in my travel. Like, what is that? You Can Have the Crown.
Oh, they're great too.
And his guitar player on this album, and I think he's not in the band anymore. I can't remember what he does.
He's on the first two
and he's
records.
from Sweden.
Yeah.
The dude was playing in metal bands or something. I don't know how the audition happened, but next thing he knows, he goes, I'm playing these, I'm learning country licks and stuff like that. And
he was one of the best young guitar players.
It is
working the business. And then he leaves and Sturgill's like, you know what? I'll just play all the guitar.
It is some of the best, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so good.
For those of you who have not heard Sturgill, check him out, because if you love Waylon Jennings, there's definitely
if you love good country music,
it is legit
the OG.
And something very different from Sturgill Simpson. This is the 1983 debut from Tears for Fears. This is The Hurting. This has been
great album.
This is some people say it's their best. This is Abbey Road Half Speed Master. So with the lathe cut to bring out every nuance in the music, and I'm sure this is one of the better, because the problem is 80s when they were making records, sometimes those records weren't the best sounding records. So sometimes the ones you're buying now actually sound better than what you would have bought back in the day. But cool record. A lot of people really
did you see them
this one.
when they were here?
I did not, but they're one of the most
they're coming back.
unexpected reunions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
I don't
They did a
know.
great segment on CBS on Sunday morning. They did a thing with them.
Oh, yeah, I
a
saw
few
some
months
of that.
back. It was really good.
Okay, and we're going to roll out of our
Oh,
very popular
yes.
reissue program. We're going to talk about some archival releases, and I call them archival releases because they have never been. They're older recordings, but they've never been available. So we're going to kick it off with this is that's not first on my list. A Death Cab for Cutie. This is Asphalt Meadows.
Yep.
And this is their. So they released an album in 2022, and just as I think surprise for fans, and their music lends itself well to acoustic, so melodic. This is an acoustic version of their 2022 album, Asphalt Meadows, and
nice.
I thought it sounded great. Great vocals. It's cool to hear the tunes kind of recorded more sparse, and it's not like guys just strumming guitars. It's an actual full blown produced acoustic version of the song. So it's there's a lot of thought that goes into this.
I interviewed them at South by Southwest at probably what was that place on 6th Street? Billiards, Buffalo Billiards or something, whatever. And it was like 4:00 in the afternoon, and it was so loud in there that and these aren't guys that like yell and scream at the top of their lungs when they're talking normally. They're kind of subdued guys. And the interview, it was almost unusable because there's so much noise in the bar.
That makes you feel good, right?
I know. Sorry.
Hey, I'm knocking myself out there. I'm not getting anything for it. We're going to close the archival segment with one of our favorite bands. This is My Morning Jacket.
Hell yeah.
And this is a recording
100%
from 2004. This is live at Bonnaroo, Volume 3. Of course, I think that they must record a majority of their shows because they keep sneaking them out here and there. But
it's very dead of them.
It is very dead of them. There's something going on. This is one of those, like, I know all this material. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to listen to a couple songs so I can speak authoritatively about it on the drop. And I just listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, of course, because it's My Morning Jacket.
And it ends with it's called Return to Thunderdome. And I think that's because it ends with a thunderstorm. And you can see from the cover with them
apparently
being soaked, which, I mean, I don't like to plug things in and then just get wet.
What year was this?
2004.
So apparently there was a friend of mine was at Bonnaroo. She was working with, I don't know, she's a publicist. She was working with some band, I don't know. And they were so she had to be at that show, whatever. And she said it rained like all 3 days or whatever. And she said she basically just threw her clothes away at the end. Not even like, I'm going to wash this, threw her shoes away.
It's done.
Yeah. She said it was horrible.
It is done.
Music was great. Dude, when I saw this, I am so excited about this.
Okay. So it's my vinyl vault pick. And when I realized we had these two items in the store, I'm like, this has to be my vinyl vault. So we're going to talk about the American release, the American album, which I think everybody knows about this, but they might not know.
I've never seen this.
About. So this is the Beatles Yesterday and Today, which this is what the cover of this is called, the steamer trunk cover.
Okay.
And so when this was issued, actually, we're up on the anniversary of it. It was issued on June 20th, 1966. 57 years ago?
No, that was 60. No. 60, what? You said 66?
Uh-huh. So this is the
56 years ago.
56, there you go.
No, that's not right. Stop asking me to do math. I don't know what I'm doing. God.
People. So this is their 9th album for Capitol Records. What you need to know is the Beatles had no control over their what their repertoire was in the United States. So what the American record company
Explain.
Capitol, so the Beatles, their albums generally in the UK did not include the 7-inch singles.
Okay.
And they generally had 14 tracks on them. So for US release, Capitol, realizing they could sell a whole lot of 10-track albums, they would slice and dice the records, create new album covers to make just 10-song albums, and then they would put the singles on the record. So this
Genius and Sinister.
Genius and Sinister, the Beatles hated it.
Of course.
And they hated it.
So this is an American release.
This is an American exclusive release. And the content is pretty much half of Rubber Soul, and with the single, you get the We Can Work It Out and Day Tripper, which was only a single at the time. But here's the thing that was really kind of screwy. Capitol had already received the masters for Rubber Soul, and they put Revolver. They put 3 songs from Revolver on here before Revolver was even released.
Wow,
which really upset the Beatles management. But
God, that's
so what?
Nuts.
So what you need to know about this is when it was originally sent to radio stations, when it was sent to
This I've seen.
Critical, this was the original cover. It's called the Butcher cover. Now this is an original 1966 pressing. This one has been professionally peeled. If you have one of these, you would not want to try to do this yourself because you will destroy the artwork. When it was sent to radio programmers, it was deemed as offensive. And what it was, the photographer Robert Whitaker had taken this portrait of the Beatles as a statement in a protest of the Vietnam War.
Right.
And showing them with
Sure.
in butcher coats with dead babies and
Yeah.
chunks of meat.
That'll ruffle some feathers.
Ruffled some feathers. So they recalled the
Really?
yeah.
Back in '66.
That's amazing. That's
There you go.
amazing.
They banned it.
Yeah, that we were just talking about that.
They sent out 1,000, and I happened to be one that got. I was a kid. I hadn't got it. I still got it.
That's
Sweet.
amazing.
They
That's-
banned it. And they-
Yeah, for sure.
The next picture was their big old case,
Right?
and Paul's sitting in there, and there it is, right
Yeah.
there. There's the FCA.
Boom.
They
See?
changed the covers.
There you go.
So they retracted.
Spoken like a true Beatles fan.
They were trying to be like the Rolling Stones. just one
Sure.
time. That's all.
They all did
That's
a
all.
little
They
bit.
made a laugh of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So they retracted the album cover.
Yeah.
They retracted. They recalled them all. But at this point, that I don't think it was necessarily in storage yet. Well, some of the pressing plants that still had the original copies,
Right.
they actually, and this is one of them, they pasted over this cover over.
Oh, that's
the
what you mean
Butcher
by it's been
cover.
peeled.
It's been peeled.
See, now I know. God,
So-
you learned. You see, on this show, you learn stuff, folks. We're just sharing stuff with you so you can have knowledge.
And so we see, so both of these came in the store at
And you can tell.
different times, but you can tell. You can see where the glue is stuck all over this and the cover's been taped together. This is
Where
the
do you
most,
find a professional peeler?
I don't know. There's
Okay.
there's a whole like website devoted to how to do that. If you decide to do that, I would not do
Did
that.
they use
You want to
AI?
leave it like you want to leave it like this.
Paul?
If you have it, this is called second state. This is called third state where it's peeled. The first state is that where it would have just
All right.
come like that as brand
You know what?
new.
You might as well just do the rest of the vinyl vaults for the year.
Well, it's so rare. It is so rare that we get
Got it.
maybe 3 or 4 of these in the store a year, and we happen to have 2 at the same time, one peeled and one not peeled. And it really is one of the greatest curiosities.
That's
of 60s
incredible.
and record culture.
That's
And,
incredible.
And so, and what everybody asks, well, how do I know if mine is? I'm looking
You
at my
can
copy.
tell. It's
You can
glued
tell-
on there.
You can tell that they call this a slick, this piece of
Right.
glossy paper, and you can actually, if you look at the edges, you can tell that there's a second one
That's crazy.
glued on top of it.
That's
But
crazy.
otherwise, you have to like look down into the image to see if you can see where the image is, and there's really only one really tell, and that's where my finger is. You can kind of see Ringo's black turtleneck
That's fantastic.
through the original
That's
white
fantastic.
cover. But that's really the only way to, but usually
Y'all just got schooled.
the ones that I find, I you can usually tell that it is pasted over.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's 2
That is
original
nuts.
butcher covers for you. And if you find one, you're
Yeah,
doing
don't
great.
don't try to
Easter-
peel it and hold on to it and don't
ultimate
don't
Easter egg record.
don't
So
do
that's
something dumb. All right, we got a couple of minutes. We got a couple of minutes left, guys. We got to wrap this up. So, anything coming up? What's happening in the store in Cactus World? What do we need to know?
Oh, we have Grifters and Shills this Saturday at 1 p.m. performing a live in-store performance at Houston Folk Group. They're great. Come check them out. Enjoy a complimentary St. Arnold beverage
Still free.
at the store. Still free for the.
And there's an outside chance that Quinn has taken me to a rock show.
Oh yeah, we might go to a rock show on Friday.
Jerry Harrison and
Adrian Ballou performing "Remain in Light." Talking Heads, "Remain in Light."
I don't know what else to tell you guys. That's amazing. All right, so for all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. We're going to get out of here and do our thing. We'll see you next Thursday at 12:30 on The Drop. Peace.
Good times. All right, best show.
Best show ever.